What's up, old school homies? Today we're going to talk about some of the better musical concepts to be more listenable. And this is something that I figured out over time. It is about being listenable. And being listenable to other people might be simpler than you thought it was. Going over people's heads, it might just be just that, you know? Giving people too much that they don't need, or trying too hard. We've all done it. But going through the fundamentals is actually where you're going to see the most sugar, you know what I mean? Being in key, on time, and, having some inspiration behind what you're doing is really going to help you endure playing the songs that you're playing. So, usually I like to start with the musical instrument. I know it sounds weird, but I more romanticize instruments than players, which is even worse of a concept. Whew. No, there's engineers behind this shit too. It comes out every day. You have to give them credit as well, because they're basically playing music in order to create the music, the instrument that you're going to play. So, it got ugly pretty quick there, didn't it? It's about the instrument. It is. Certain instruments will inspire you to play them. Other instruments will make you think, man, this instrument stinks compared to the other instruments that I have. I hate to say it, but some sound better than others. And even instruments versus other instruments, it gets to be pretty competitive. Certain things are good for, synthesized instruments that are also good as real instruments, but then there's trade-offs as to if it's a really good idea to be synthesizing everything. And I get what you're saying, you might think that it's not really cool to play a non-instrument. Like the guy I bought the drum machine off, he doesn't play any instruments anymore. He just programs things. That's it. Just on a laptop. He no longer plays any physical instruments. And I could just kind of tell from the distance that he was beyond me in music. He was better, He had it going on more. He had more music productions. They were better than mine, and I had never heard him play. I could just kind of tell by sizing him up. So he had different things going for him. Mainly a nice DAW, Pro Tools. After that, he learned that there was enough musical creativity behind his own mind that he didn't really need to play an instrument anymore. And I think eventually I will get to that level when I get a more powerful computer. I'm really kind of a hardware-ish guy, but still electronic. I'm not quite a stringed guy anymore. It's sad to say. I want to be. I have been before. Try to believe me. No, I wrote a whole album where I was like playing bass and drums. And that album that I made with JR just totally changed my life. And it was the pinnacle of my whole entire life. It really was. It's hard to go from the pinnacle and just go into what's going to be next, But it was there. It was all right there. And I got to see it. And I was a part of it. It was amazing. I could not believe how it happened. After it happened, and it didn't seem like JR was going to be a part of our techno band, I tried to be JR. I have ever since, pretty much. And I saw what he was doing. I couldn't nail it down. But I could be listenable if I followed some of the concepts that I heard from other people. Mainly from the very first person I talked to about music, Chad. Chad Jackson is a famous viola player, still is, and he plays in orchestra, and he plays, I don't know, K-pop, all kinds of shit. recording artist, and I think Chad's great. And when I tried to like get musical advice out of him, it was mostly about staying in time and in tune, so he could tell the difference, and he knew all his scales. He was classically trained. So I took that from Chad, and I always thought it would be cool if I was classically understood, or even if I didn't understand all of classical, I could result towards it when I looked for something. So that's where I went. I went towards classical, and then I got a drum machine. That changed everything. The drum machine and classical, along with electronic instruments, kind of equals techno, or I don't know, dance music. It's pretty cool. It's awesome. It feels really good. So if you can get your drum machine going, that's going to be in time. Then you find where the one is. You know, you're writing these drum loops all the time. Once you see where it's at, you know, where it begins and ends, then you can actually add other instruments into it. Bass is nice to add in. Once I started playing bass along with a drum machine, it felt really good to have two things happening, even if they were very, very basic. So in my first album, I think JR made fun of it and said, "You're only playing two notes in your bass line, you know?" And I thought my bass lines were good. So I would play a third note. Anyways, it was a great album. One day it will come out and you will all see the genius of it. But after I saw that, it was beautiful. I knew that finding synthesizer settings was a fun thing, so I had found a whole bunch of different ones that I really liked in Analog Lab 5 by Arturia. And then once JR got into the studio, then I had double trouble. I already knew what I wanted him to use, and I would go into the setting and I would say, "I think with this drum beat in this setting, and you," it was magical. And then I was like, I just need to learn how to play the synthesizer, and then I'm good. And then I've been good ever since. I feel that I can come out with music on the spot by doing this. First, you create a good drum loop, and you like the drum loop. Then, you should be finding a bass line. I quit playing bass after I started playing the keyboard. So you can actually just play bass lines with your left hand. I don't have bass lines anymore. I just use filters and shit. And with the different filters, they'll be shorter or longer distances. They might evolve in different ways. It's all about having the right patch. I'm just a patch-heavy type of guy. A lot of people don't understand looking for patches, but if you romanticize them and engineer them right, or find ones that are engineered right, then they'll fit into the timings of those things. It just takes a long time to look through all the different settings, see what you like, know what works with what, and really, it will flow out. It really will. There'll be a certain timing. You know, someone that actually wrote that patch is the one that actually seems to have the upper hand. You know, you should be writing your own patches, and then you would have the exact timing for the drum loop that you wrote. One day I'll get there.